How helpful is it to have two former athletics employees working on this project who are familiar with this community?
It's incredibly helpful. Scott has relationships with donors. He has relationships with coaches. He has relationships with people inside of Iowa athletics. Jane, same way. She has relationships with everybody inside of athletics. If you think about what we're trying to do, we got to raise money. We've got to set up events. Jane does the events. Scott does the raising money, and I just stand up in front of you guys and look silly. You know.
So getting back to my earlier question, I'm not, I guess competing maybe wasn't the right word, but just sort of, what is your pitch to donors that are already given, let's say, big dollar figures to, you know, facilities and whatnot, but now you just said yourself, you know, you're going to win championships, you got to have a good collective.
You know, I think the answer is that, you know, it's really a question I would ask. You know, why do you give to Iowa athletics? Mm-hmm. Is it because you're wanting to have a nicer chair to sit in when you watch the games? Mm-hmm. Okay, if that's the case, then that's don't give money to me or to the Swarm. If you're looking for Iowa athletics to just be successful, that's another answer you might get, right? I would say, well, I think that for Iowa athletics to be successful moving forward, NIL is going to have to play a part in that, and you know, not only are you helping out the student athletes in the program indirectly, you're also helping out the local community, and for some that's a really cool draw. Anybody else?
What's your goal for the first year in terms of, is there a number you have circled?
Is there a number? I'm going to be happy with whatever we get. You know, I've read, if what I read on the internet is true, and that's always the case, right? I've seen that Ohio State needs $13 million or something for their football program. I don't have that big of a number in mind. But I do think that we're going to need several $million to help us go where we want to go. Whether that's 5, 10, I'm not sure, but it's, you know, we've got a ways to go.
Where do you find your spot? You know, you talk about Ohio State with that high number, and maybe Wisconsin or Nebraska or schools in this area. How do you kind of compare and compete with that?
Well, it's probably no different than if you were asking one of the coaches these questions, right? We're gonna put our head down, do things the right way, and see how it all unfolds. I think Iowa people are a very giving group. I go to the bowl games and I see Iowa people everywhere. They're willing to spend money on trips. I think they're going to be willing to help us out in our journey here. You know, how much they raise versus us is interesting, but it's not going to be something that I consume myself with, because there's nothing I can do about that, right? It's going to be whatever we do is what we do. We're going to try to make a compelling case. We're going to run a great organization, and hopefully people in the community will get behind us.